Okay, so what I'm planning to do is I'm going to be doing a buddy build with a good friend of mine, Mr. Chris Cortell of Classic Plastic 101. But what we are intending to build, we're going to convert an airplane that we have in our stash, and we're going to convert it over into the late 60s bat plane. And it has bears a great resemblance to the F-101 Voodoo. And this is the kit that I'll more likely be using. I do have another kit, which is the Century series. This one here has the camera in the nose, and I really like this kit, although the decals are in rough condition in this. The Century series version that I have does not have the camera. It's just the straight Voodoo, and I may, more than likely, I may use that kit, but I have to locate it. And it'll be the same as this kit is. They're both monogram kits, and like I say, they're pretty much the same kit, except for like this one has the camera in the nose. This is the Recon Voodoo, and I will show you a few things here. The decals are here. They are not in the greatest shape. I'm not going to trust them anyway. I'd really like to build the Recon version eventually, but sourcing those decals are probably going to be impossible to get. So, and then this is the fuselage, and it does have a lot of flash on the tree, and there is a little bit of flash on the body of the plane as well, the fuselage. And I'm not going to go through the instructions and all that. And then here is the nose cone, and that is, oh, about dropped it here. That is the camera mount. Just different parts of the plane that looks like the engine, or the lower engine housing. You got intakes. That appears to be, that looks like it may be the forward landing gear bay. And you got one of the pilot seats right there. Pretty good detail on this kit. It's an older kit, and I don't know what the year this kit was put out, but it still builds up to be a very nice kit. I will be putting mine in flight mode. Here is the wings, the external fuel tank, which those will not be used. Like I say, I'm gonna put mine in flight mode, and you can see a lot of flash there. And I'm going to more than likely black out the cockpit canopy. Speaking of the cockpit, there is the cockpit tub. A little dark, see if I can get a little bit of light on it. It has pretty good detail, the raised detail, so some dry brushing would bring that out nicely. And just some loose parts here. And Chris, I was wrong. Mine does have the pilots. Here's one of the ejector seats, and it ejected right out of my hand into the floor. There's one of the pilots, and here's the other guy. But I'm not going to use them. I'm going to, I have decided I'm going to black out my canopy. So everything that goes into the cockpit will not be used. I'll see what I need to ensure, sound structure on it, but I doubt that I will need anything in the cockpit. And that is it. If I decide to change up with the other kit, then I will show that in the first update. But this is just the announcement video. Like I said, we'll be building with my good friend Chris Cortell. So we're going to get started on it, and we're going to have fun. So. And this is an update on the Voodoo bat. Start off with the base. What I'm going for on the base is to make it look like a rooftop of a building. I'm going to make a plate that'll go here. It won't take up the entire deal, but it'll just be a plate that'll go on here. It'll probably be that wide, and it's going to say City Hall, or maybe Gotham City Hall. I don't know yet. The top here, the wood grain that you see, the pieces of wood, they're not quite as wide as the base is. They're just slightly undersized. And the reason I'm not cutting anymore is because I got a box of bits and pieces of wood like this that I picked up. And this is the longest piece. And I'm not going to go through all the trouble of setting up my table saw and cutting out pieces of wood like this when I've got a box full of them. And like I say, it's just a little bit smaller. But back here, and I'll move that just a little bit. You can see I got the on-off switch there. I haven't wired up anything yet. Working on a bat signal. It's still in the construction stage. I've had another idea of something that I want to do to it. It's not going to be in your face bright. I will be lighting it up with LED tape in behind it, and all it's going to do is just glow. You know, like I say, I don't want it shining out brightly. The plane is not glued together. The fuselage is glued together, and the wing section is glued together, but I can bend the wings a little bit and take this entire wing. Okay, sorry about that. I had to pick up some stuff. I bumped the nose of the jet and just knocked shit everywhere. So I had to pick it all up. Where was I at? The jet. Like I say, I can take the wing section back apart because I've still got to get inside of it to wire up the LEDs. I've got the LEDs here that I wired them up early this morning, and this is Friday the 24th at 4:49. So I wired those up earlier this morning and just kind of mocked everything up. It's been a funky day for me, so I hadn't gotten a lot accomplished. But I still got to get inside and wire up the LEDs. I'm going to have a beacon here right behind the cockpit, one under the belly, the two wingtip lights, and then I'm putting orange flickering LEDs in the engines. That's where I'm going with all this. And the way you see it, this is about where the plane is going to be. It's just like he's over top of Gotham City Hall. Commissioner Gordon has flashed the bat signal, and he's zipping across to let them know he's on the job. So, but I've got to, and you are seeing it correctly. There is nothing in the cockpit. I did not put the cockpit in whatsoever. I'm going to go in and black out the inside of the canopy, and then once I get that done, I'm going to mask off. I've got part of it masked off. You can see the black there. I'm going to mask off the rest of it back here, and then glue it down. And once it's glued down, then I can prime it when I prime the rest of the plane and everything. So it's coming along. The pitot tube here on the front, I keep banging it around. I'm surprised I hadn't broken it off by now, but it's bent just a little bit because, like I say, it sticks out like a sore thumb. But I've got the engine cones here. These are the engines. I've got the hole drilled in for the flickering LED. The flickering LEDs I've got, they're 5 mil. I'd much rather had a smaller one, but that, it is what I've got. So, but I've got underneath, I've got the landing gear doors on. I've still got to make the landing gear, the door for the front landing gears bay. These are 2 more pieces that I've got to put on for the rear landing gear. I've got the wings cut out, the rear stabilizers cut out and scalloped. And this is the gun, not a gun pod, but the rocket pod that goes underneath the front there. And I don't know if I'll put rockets on it or not. I'll look and see. I may do it just for the fun of it. On this, it's supposed to have the rear stabilizers are supposed to go in at an angle. They go in like this, and I have bent the pieces. Let's see how they go here. And it's just each one has a half on a pin on each side, and I've set it up where they're going to go straight across. So I've changed that up slightly. And I don't know what else to say, but having a lot of fun with it. There's, like I say, there's still a few things I've got to put on the fuselage. Get the LEDs in there, and then I can get the wings closed up and do some seam work. And that's it. Like I say, I don't know what else to say. With the top here, the wood part, I'm going to spray that with the stone texture, and then I'll probably paint that a lighter gray, to kind of contrast the top of the building there, the roof of the building. But yeah, that's it. Like I say, I'm drawing a blank. I just don't know what else to say. Having a lot of fun with this, and seeing Chris's updates on Facebook. He looks like he's having a lot of fun with his. I want to do this update before I actually finish the model. I don't have a whole lot left to do. The base is behind me. It is complete. All I have to do is wire in the switch and connect the lights from the plane. Got it all sealed up yesterday, got all the parts added onto it, and primed it good. And I used my favorite primer, which is Krylon gray. After I got the gray primer shot on it, I let it sit for I don't know, it probably set good 6-7 hours. And then later last night, I come back out to the shop here, and I shot the Stynylrez Res black all over it because I wanted, let me back up. The reason I shot it with gray primer, because I wanted, the black that's on it is going to be the final black color that I put on it, and I'm going to do some masking on it. My experience, like with my Fifth Element taxi, putting tape on the black Stynylrez, if I, putting a Stynylrez down on the bare plastic and then putting tape over it, I didn't want it lifting back off. Argue your point if you want to. This is my experience with the Stynylrez. So I put the gray primer down to give the black Stynylrez something to grip to, like I say, because I'm going to be masking on it, and I wanted to make sure that I didn't lift the black Stynylrez off of it. Okay, so the black you see is going to be the actual black parts, and what I'm going to do is come back in and I'm going to mask off what I want to stay black, and then I'm going to paint, and I'm going to use this Liquitex. This is the color blue, and it's showing up a little brighter blue on camera, but it's not that bright of a blue. Over the black, if I have to paint it twice, I will. I may add a little black to this, the Liquitex here, but that is going to be the top color on it. I did add some parts to it. I'm not going to point anything out at the moment. I will wait till the final and point those out. If you see them, hoorah for you. Good. These are the engine exhaust cones. And again, it's looking a little more pronounced on screen. What I did was I shot it with black, and then I came back in with what was it I used? Geez, I can't remember what. Jet exhaust. And then I thought, excuse me, I thought I had some gold in the metallic paint, but I don't. All I had was copper. And like I say, it's the copper that's on here is not as prominent as it's showing on screen. It's got a nice little hue to it, and yeah, you already seeing inconsistencies because I didn't want to have the entire deal colored in copper. I wanted the black undertones to show through and the jet exhaust to show through. So and I got both of them done up that way. I would have much rather liked to have the gold, and now that I know I don't have gold, I will order my gold because I've got projects down the road that I bought that paint for. I got the missiles or the bombs that are going on the front. I'm not going to show those. I'll show those in the final reveal. But that's pretty much it. I think I'm a little further along than Chris is. So what I'm going to do is when I get mine finished, and I'm not saying that I'll finish mine before Chris does. I may and I may not. But if I do finish mine before Chris gets his done, I will wait until he gets ready to post his final before I post the final on this. So it'll be as long as it is. So I've got other projects. Once this gets done, I've got other projects that I want to do. I've still got to finish up the B-17. But what I'm going to do is when I get the Voodoo bat here done, I am going to reorganize my work area because I've got a lot of junk here that I just need to do something with. Seems I'm playing pick up and save, and I don't have projects that I'm saving this stuff for, so I'm just going to get rid of it. And it's not model kits, just a bunch of, I don't know, just odds and ends. And I've got model parts everywhere in the shop, so I'm going to today actually I'm going to get some of the 16 quart Sterilite tubs, and I'm going to put all of my parts, I'm going to gather them up and put all of my spare parts in one spot in the shop. That way whenever I need something for Greebles, I will be able to go and get them without having to hunt and search and send out a rescue party when the search party gets lost. And just like that, the Voodoo bat is done. Had a lot of fun with this. Loved scratch building the bat signal. That is one of my most favorite things to do, is just take parts and pieces and make things like that. And I'll tell you, one of the things that I made that bat signal out of was just a 2-inch coupling. Now that's the housing for it. And just done various things to it. The back side of it, I've got 2 coils of double density LED tape in it. I've got the green nav on one tip, wingtip, the red nav on the other. I've got an RGB here, a red underneath. And one thing I was going to do is put cotton in the end, but I've got 2 flickering orange LEDs there, and I'll show you some other things. I got some bombs underneath of it, but I'm gonna go ahead and turn the lights down just a little and then switch everything on, and that's what it looks like all lit up. Like I say, that's an RGB bulb. There's no special things to it, to make it do that. The bulb comes just like you see it. All I did was add a resistor to wire it into 9 volts. And so, like I say, here you can see the, let me get my pointer. I made me a new little pointy stick. Here I've got the green navigational light, and you can see the RGB there, and around, and I will lift it up a little bit. You can see the flickering engines. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take some cotton and stick in there and have it come out of the exhaust ports just a tad. I meant to do that for the video and I didn't do it. On this side it looks like a pink nav, but it's actually red navigational light, and then underneath is another red beacon light. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn the lights back on a little bit, and I'm going to show you actually what I'm going to do. Let me do this. And I glued it to the thing, but it doesn't want to stay. I'm going to have to put some more super glue. What I'm going to do is I'm going to take the camera off so I can get down kind of closer to it. I blacked out the canopy. Let's see what we can do here about the light. The paint job, it looks purplish in the camera, but believe me, it is a real deep blue. It's so dark blue that it's giving off the purple hue, but I use blue for it. Underneath, take a look at the bombs, and the camera is not wanting to focus on the bombs. So I turn a little more light on. That made things worse. Anyway, you can tell by the color of the bombs of who he is going after. And what I wanted to do, and I couldn't get it to show up on there. I am calling these the Bat Enema bombs, and he's sending them to the Joker. One of them I was going to write Enema Bomb on it, and on the other one I was going to write Hey Joker. And I just couldn't get my fine tip Sharpie to transfer over to it. Let me turn it around this way since it's angled the other direction. You can see here on the back, took jet exhaust, and I done all the metal work underneath here. That is jet exhaust and copper metal color, Vallejo metal color on the engines. Like I say, you can see the flickering effect there. On the tail, you can see I've got a special rudder tail there, and what that is, that's from the old Polar Lights jet, the bat plane. That is the entire tail fin, and I just filled in where the rudder was on the tail fin and then cut this one out and put the one in there for that. Not so crazy about the way it comes up to a point like that, but I didn't want to alter it because it would have messed up the way the scallop is on there, on the top of it. Scallop the wings, tail wings here. And another feature that I stole from the Polar Lights, and let me turn it around again. It's still, there we go. Get that one a little better. Hang on, let me back up and hell, I'll just zoom in. That makes it grainy as hell. Having a time here, guys. I'm sorry, but yeah, it ain't gonna show up right. Anyway, those are the wheel spats for the Polar Lights bat plane, and I took a vinyl, you can see the shiny bat there. I took a vinyl stencil that I made up and painted the yellow on, got it on the wing and on both sides of the fuselage and under that wing there. Sorry if I'm making you guys dizzy. And with the bat signal, I told you I used a 2-inch coupling, PVC coupling for the housing. The rest of that is just styrene that I cut. I was going to put a googly eye over the screw there, which is obvious that it's a screw, and I didn't want it to look like that. But I've got I've got a ton of googly eyes, but I don't have any of that size. I've got some that are smaller and some that are larger, but I couldn't find one that would fit there. And the wrap here that you see on the texture, all that is black vinyl. I found a template, or not template, but a design online. I knew what I wanted, so I just come in and measured everything out and printed out or cut it out of vinyl, black vinyl, and then stretched it on there. It's not perfect. There's some spots on there that I couldn't get it to lay down. Believe me, it was very difficult getting it to wrap around. It's kind of off just a little on the bottom. It's closer to the back, when it gets to the bottom, so it's a little offset. But hey, it's on the bottom. You're not going to notice it. The City Hall here, this is just a big, thick piece of styrene that I cut out. And once again, I come back with a vinyl sticker and made Gotham City Hall. So that is it. I want to thank my buddy Chris Cortell for, building along with me. I absolutely loved this. Had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun building with him because I think a lot of Chris. Chris, has been my friend for quite some time, and I hope it continues to be that way, Chris. Like I say, we've been good buddies. Lots of fun with this build. Chris done a fantastic job on his. But anyway, Chris, appreciate you building along with me, buddy, and allowed me to join in with you and participating in this buddy build. Lots of fun. If you ever want to do it again, man, I'm here. Especially on a subject like this. This is something that I've been wanting to do, and I know you've been wanting to do it too. So that's it. Don't want to get too mushy. So hope you guys like it, and I will just catch you in the next update. Thanks for watching.